Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, a quick afternoon up or late evening update. And we're going to look at Bitcoin here if my laptop cooperates. This already was looking kind of shady and shisty. So we're going to give it a go. But if you look at what's going on here in the Bitcoin, right? I got all the rings up here in a far out time frame, the weekly time frame, and you can see every time you get up near with our industry exclusive perching tool, we're going to perch right from the middle of this fib circle. You can see every time we come up to the orange ring, from underneath it, it acts as resistance. Right here, it broke through it and held it as support, right? Actually, we need to use my drawing tool. We'll use the perching tool later. Get out of there, perching tool. We need the drawing tool. All right, it seems to be progressing fine. But you can see every time we come up, right? We can even do this. See this back here? All the way back in 2013, November, it pumped up to $800 and it hit this 1.618 ring and got rejected and then straddled along it and then came all the way back down to the underneath ring, right? And then it got support in September 2015 and it came back up and hit this ring again, briefly got rejected, and then came up and broke through it in June of 2016 and then came back and got supported on it in August, and then we went on a nice pump from August all the way to February, and we came all the way up to $1,200 and right up to that ring again in February, and then we came down a little bit, and then we pumped up through it all the way through the 5th of May 2017, and we got rejected, came back down to the underneath orange ring, got supported, and then had a nice pump all the way up, got rejected, came back down, right? And in September, and then we blew through that ring in mid-October and had a straight V shot up through late December 17 at the end of that bull run and got topped out at this orange ring right here. You see that? And then we started trading in a jagged consolidation, which was a descending triangle. See this? And then we pittered out with no volume. You had down, overhead down trending resistance, and then you had horizontal support, right? And then you broke down and traded sideways right into this orange ring, and then you got supported on it this time and you pumped, and then you got topped out up here. That's why this green ring's here, and then you traded within this green ring and consolidated through all of 2019 right in the same ring, right? All of 2018, most of 2019, and then you traded out of the ring and traded up into the next ring and got the flush during COVID, and that brought you all the way down to this 0.50 ring or 0.618 ring, and then you got bought back up, stabilized, but the green ring traded through it again, and then it got bought up into the next ring, traded through it, and then right as you hit this orange ring this time now, instead of getting rejected, you blew through it. Now, here's a critical thing. This is a major difference from what's been going on. All through there, you've been getting rejected by that orange ring, right? But if you look back now at the ring that you pumped up through, let's look back the last time you came across this ring, right? And that was right here. And what did you do? You blew right through it to the next ring. See that? And then that's when you started getting rejected by that ring for a long time to consolidate. So usually when you come and hit a ring over there, we're just going to check back on that to make sure it's recording. Usually when you hit a ring in the past, it interacts the same when you come back around it and hit that same ring again. But the ring's swung around on the other side now, right? So that's why right here, when we swung around this time, instead of getting rejected like we've been and consolidating before the breakout, we traded straight through this all the way up to the next ring, just like we did all the way back there, right? See that? Let's zoom in a little bit. Back here, we traded from this ring coming underneath and shot all the way up to the next ring before we got topped out and consolidated down from about the 11th of November 2013 all the way until the 15th of exactly 2 years later, the 11th of November 2015, when we finally started hitting that ring again, right? So see how super simple and easy these fib circles are to help you sidestep the criminal gangster cartel and the market manipulators to profitability, when you can use these rings as a way to base your trade based on how they interacted with the ring last time. That's why all these rings are critical, but some rings take over at certain times. And right now it's this orange ring that's very important. So if this interacts like the last ring, it's going to start to dance around here, right? Start trading sideways, start dancing on it, and then start trading down. So this is a big critical area right now, how it interacts with this orange ring, because we just went through the whole history from 2013 till now, how it acts with these orange rings. And this one, initially it acted as resistance and then came back, and now it's acting as resistance again. And if you look at it as we zoom on in, and that's why we were in the weekly time frame, and now we're going to zoom on into the 2 hour time frame in a super simple, easy way to trade this manipulated market, uh, because that's how you get an understanding of where the price was coming from and how the price and the price action has worked its way through the chart in a technical trading chart, so you can set it up in a super simple, easy, probability based weighted structure to give you a few 69 steps and a few legs up on the markets, because you can try to anticipate based on what the market did in the past, and maybe it'll repeat or rhyme with itself in the future, right? So now, right now, you know that even on the way up here, you knew this was going to act as overhead resistance, and it did. It initially traded down, then it had that rounding bottom, and then it shot up now, and it had a little bit of resistance right here. You see that as it came through it? It had to fight its way through here. It had a big sell-off right there initially, and then started trading its way up and sideways, right? And now it's got this nice double top right there. And we'll see if it can continue to trade up past this green overhead resistance, or if this orange ring indeed does start to knock it back down, right? So that's what we're going to watch out for. And now we're going to zoom back out into the 3 hour time frame real quick. And that is what we're going to be looking for, to see how it interacts with this orange ring, like it's been doing, like we progressed through and just took a look at it there, right? So what I would watch out for in the immediate short term is that this price looks like it's going to do something like this. I think it's going to do something like this. And then if I had to guess, I would take a targeted move from here to the little neckline to the point of the breakout. And look at that. If it did it by where I had my little circle, that lines you up exactly with that 53,069. And that's why that's on there. When we're zoomed in, you don't really see what's going on, but it's because it's back testing this old major upper resistance that's now going to be lower support. So I think you have to come down and retest this, even if you are to make new highs. I think you got to come down and touch that. I don't think you're just going to do straight this and then consolidate and then up. I don't think that's going to happen right now. I just don't see that. For some reason, to me, you're going to come back down to this orange ring, and I feel like eventually this orange ring is going to push you down in November as we progress into this November, where I think it's going to be a phenomenal crash setting up in November. I still think you have to come back down, and we're going to keep you on top of that at Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, right? As we look at what else do we got? I guess we can do some XRP. We got all these fancy little rings on here. We'll go over here. Got the volume indicator. And let's see what's dominating in the XRP, right? Let's get that out of there. Let's go into the monthly time frame. Let's see if we can't pick out what ring is taking over right now. Let's see what we got going on here. Where'd the price go? Why's the price gone? It doesn't make any sense. What the fuck's going on here? There it is. Alright. So we're out here into the weekly time frame. And let's see what we got going on. Green, orange. Oh yeah. Let's take this orange ring and blur it out here a little bit. Fade it off into the background just so ever slightly, right? Pull out this green ring, make it bigger, bring it out into the forefront, and then let's see what's going on here. So you can see we pumped up into here, got rejected, came back down, and then consolidated and just traded through the ring. And as soon as we hit the ring, we skyrocketed and then got rejected, traded sideways, got supported on this ring, and then traded down as we worked our way through. These were all bearish rings, right? So as we come back around these rings, we're going to look to see this one as we come back around on this side. It was acting as bearish last time. Is it going to act as bearish again this time? See that? It traded sideways into this ring and then crashed all the way down and had to touch the 1.618 level. Quickly got bought back up, but then continued trading down and got overhead resistance. It kept getting beat down by the 100% retracement right there, right? Until it finally traded sideways and through it. So now as we zoom on in here to this ring over here that we're about to come up to, right? Let's pull this over here. Last time we came up to this ring like we just showed you, we got rejected by it, right? So we're going to see if we don't get rejected by this ring again. Let's get some of this nonsense out of here. Get out. Come on. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. So last time we came up against this ring right here, we got rejected. And now we're going to see if we don't get harshly rejected by this ring again and force it down like we've been thinking, or like we called correctly, at least in the first 23%. And now it's starting to pump and take off. And that's why after we met the targeted move, I always forget I have that on. No. That's why after we met the targeted move down here, right here that we called from what we had going on in here, we'll get some of this off, make it easier to see. We don't want to delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that down there. But after we hit this targeted move from this descending channel right here, you can see we had lower support, upper resistance 1, lower support 2, upper resistance 2, lower support 3, and that's where we diagnosed this pattern out after it was confirmed in a daily time frame. And then we hit upper resistance 3, lower support 4, upper resistance 5 on a fake out where everybody right here, no matter what any of these charlatans say, they all thought it was doing that right there from there. And Vincenzo said this was a descending triangle and the targeted move from that was right here. And you can see the price came down to right there, right? And that was quite the flip. Oops. That was quite the flip from when the price briefly broke out right there, right? But Vincenzo called the reversal as soon as the price hit this green ring right here. We said the price would collapse, right? As soon as it hit that green ring, and that was when the price was right here and rising up into it, I said it would break down. And then we had a first target of 92 cents that it hit beautifully. But as soon as it hit this, I put out a video as it was hitting it and said, now what likes to happen is it likes to back test this major upper resistance now that used to be lower support when it was in the triangle. And oftentimes, but not always, they like to break back down and double bottom and then start to trade down lower. But we would have to watch out to see if you couldn't bounce back into this triangle, trade within the triangle, and then break up and try to make a fabulous, glowing, algebraic, enticing double top. And that's where you're at now. You've actually broke above it a little bit. So that's why I'm thinking now, or that's why I'm thinking this green ring, like we went over, is going to act as major upper resistance. But that's why we have had this target out from when the reversal happened down here as a possible spot it could come up to, right? And then we were sitting in here when we were talking about it earlier this morning in the 5-minute time frame. But if I had to take a look at this now, I would say, I would think this is probably going to try to trade up into this green ring right here and get and have it act as major upper resistance like it did last time in the past that we just look back when we look left on the chart way back there in a super simple, easy way to trade this manipulated market with you, yes, you, the beautiful, lovely subscribers, as we hit that bell notification and that subscription button to support the channel. I would watch out for this to either A, fall back down to the 200-day and start dancing and maybe get back into here, right? Or you keep trading up, hit the moving average, trade up, and then you trade up into this. And this is where your next major problem is going to be, because I think this is going to force you down in a big, quick fashion, swift, quick fashion if you get up into here, right? That's going to be major overhead resistance. And that's why I brought you back into the past to look at what happened the last time you traded into this green ring, right? So that $1.39 is major overhead resistance up at this green ring. If you can get that high as the volume continues to be depressed, but the price continues to rise. So that's what I would look forward to see what happens, how it interacts with that green ring up there. I think that's going to act as major overhead resistance as we hit up into this area, and that's what I'm forecasting. If you get up there, I'm thinking this thing's going to trade up into there, and it's going to have a real hard time getting on top of that, and I think it's going to drive it down right back into this area, right? So that's what I think is going on in the XRP. It's either going to come down into here real quick, or you're going to shoot up into here, and this is where I would have my big watch on. We're going to have this circled up here. I'm going to have a Vincenzo extended watch, as a Vincenzo ring watch, right? As a potential dynamic move as you hit this ring over here in the coming few days towards this weekend, right? Like, subscribe, and share to Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing to my beautiful audience. Peace and love. Peace and love.